Got one question for you. Are you ready?
Hey, what's up? And, we got another wonderful musician in house yet again. What's going on, James? What's going on, Matt?
What's up? Ooh, how's it going? What's up, Matt?
So we got Matt from Hotels on Fire. This has been a fun week. This has been another fun week getting to know some different music. I absolutely love it. So we'll be talking about that a little bit later. But, Matt, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. Just been working on guitars all day. Really it.
So what you were saying, so he is a part-time luthier, part-time musician, and a part-time restaurateur. So we have a lot of fun discussions going on because that's what we do. That's what we do. We talk about food here. So that's right. We're staying tasty. So, but let's get down to dessert. I know that the main man here has brought a dessert. He works at a restaurant. Let's see what he's got.
So I can't get enough of like mango flavored stuff. And so I got this Luigi's mango sorbet. Get like 6 of them, and I always hit 3 of them at a time. Like I should probably not.
Those are good because I know you're feeling that because I've done the same
thing. Yeah, like I can't.
I get like the whole like variety pack and like I just crush them.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep. I've been trying to try different there's one brand of like popsicles called like Outshine. It's good, but they ran out of the mango ones, so I saw these. I was like, oh, I've had that before, and I could just all day long.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. Sorbet. You know the interesting thing about sorbet is this: sorbet is a dessert, yet it also is one of those kind of that you put it in between a meal course, and it helps clean the palate, especially like between appetizers and the main course.
Yeah.
Super good for just cleaning the palate and getting it back to a, like that same balance. So then when you taste the main meal coming in, it's just so good. And I've actually had it because have you ever had table d'hote where you do a lot of courses and they'll do a sorbet in between each one of them for most of them. So yeah, it's a clean. I love that taste. I love sorbet.
I forgot the term, but there's like a term that means palate cleansing. I forgot what it is.
Yeah, it's like French. It's French.
As soon as you mentioned that, it's like man. But yeah, they eat like a sorbet or they eat like some kind of ice, like flavored ice or whatever, but they clean the palate.
Yep.
Yeah, I was looking up how to make sorbet today, and I found. Have you ever had granita?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like lemon ice, but it's like more shards.
Oh, yes.
I want to make.
I did like my own like a little take on a Dole Whip. That's like amazing if you haven't tried to make that. It's like I think it's just ice. Or no, not even ice. You freeze the pineapple, and then you get like coconut milk, and I forgot what the other ingredient was. Like I think it's condensed milk, sweetened condensed milk, and like mix those together, and like you got literally a Dole Whip. You freeze it, stick it in the freezer, and you're good.
Yeah, that's cool.
And anybody who knows Dole Whip, I didn't realize this was a thing, but it's a Disney thing, a big Disney thing, right? Yeah, that's the Disney thing. Like, hey, did you have the Dole Whip? And you're like, what is that a thing? And then we were like, my daughter's like, yeah, that's like a thing. That's like a big thing here. That's like what we sell a lot of it. So yeah, pretty cool. I have not yet again. I'm still sticking to it, guys. I still have. So today I did go a little bit more like it has different flavors in the after post workout drink that I do. And so this one is like a tropical punch. It is so boring, but it is actually pretty tasty for a post. And then I add some creatine, and now I'm about ready to add some glutamine to my post-workout, try to get that recovery going. As everybody knows my story, I was quite chunky, eating whole bunny rabbits in one sitting whole chocolate bunny rabbits in one
Yeah.
sitting. And I have decided to be on a diet. So this
Nice.
diet has been treating me well. And I've been working out. I do right now I'm doing a lot of push pull, and then I have a friend that's coming up with a custom workout for me. So it's been fun. I have just really enjoyed feeling healthier. I'll tell you that. And a lot of it has to mean that I have to get rid of some of the dessert options that I used to love. Like it's going from like ice cream to like some nuts and things for dessert, right? Or like in this case, I'm having a post-workout because I just got done working out like half an hour ago. So but good. So yeah, blah for a dessert show. But I'll tell you, the gains have been awesome. I feel so much better. It's been what 4 or 5 months since the bunny incident, and
Yeah.
I feel better. I haven't eaten anything like that anytime soon. So yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Feel good, man. Feel good. So what we know, we're just gonna bow down right now. We know sorbet good, but what did the chef bring?
Nothing. I mean, nothing. It's good, but I mean, not good for you, probably. Oh, no, it's not. It's definitely not good for you at all. But I came across this recipe like a little bit ago, and it's become like a staple to make it every so often. But they're banana bread brownies.
Oh my
And
word!
it's legit, like so good. They're legit so good. It's basically just like a regular like banana bread. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll show you like the gist of it. Like it's like
that looks
so
good. That
Well,
looks good.
Like so, like the recipe wise, like the base of it. So you got all your wet ingredients is 1.5 cup sugar, 1 cup sour cream, half cup of butter, 2 eggs, 4 ripe bananas, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 3/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 cup of walnuts. You're separating your dry from your liquid, and then you mix the liquid. Get that incorporated, then you add that to your dry. Once you get that, you put it in like a little. I use a pretty like decent like just a cake sheet like pan, a cake pan. And that goes for I think about 375 for like 20-25 minutes. You just check on. For the brown butter frosting, it's half cup of butter. You kind of brown it a little bit, which is pretty much you melt it down to melt down all the way, and you kind of like swishing it around so it's kind of like it gets brown, gets that toasty color. You almost smell that nutty aromatic smell. Take it off. Add 4 cups of powdered sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and 3 tablespoons of milk, or like desired consistency, and then you add it to the top of like the bread. It's good. It's amazing. It's amazing, but not good for you, obviously, but it's really good.
Then I don't know. Wow, that's just amazing, dude. That's awesome, and thanks for sharing again the recipe coming from the Metal Chef, Bearded Metal Chef. If you need to go hit him up on Instagram for recipe ideas. Yeah, super good. This sounds amazing. His desserts are always. I'm glad again that I live in Arizona because I can just I would be at his house all the time trying to eat all of that food.
You just get random like drop offs.
I would. I'd just be like, "Hey, what's going on over there? Hey, what's going on? Hey." Be like a deal. Like a deal goes down. Hey, what's going on over there? He gave me some brownies. I'm not going to let anybody else know about those brownies. So Matt, what's going on? So this is some questions for you. So you are in the middle of either repairing guitars, and I know that's what you do is the other part of your life. So you're either repairing guitars or you're going out on tour or, hitting the local club. What is it that is your go-to out on the tour while you're maybe doing something with guitars, fixing them up, making sure that they sound nice and pretty? What are you eating?
What am I eating?
What are you eating during those times? What's your go-to? Like sandwiches? Is it from a certain restaurant? What is it?
I'm a big sandwich guy. Anytime I can get like an Italian sub, that's just what I go to. And I think one of the best things, like when you're on like in a road scenario where this is a friend of mine always told me is like this, you can never be in a bad mood eating these, as the honey mustard and onion pretzels from Snyder's. You ever had those?
Yes, I have. They are.
Yeah,
You are
like
right.
I just those just get me. As far as like dessert stuff goes, though, I'm always like anything fruit, like tart, like citrusy, like that's my jam. Like the chocolate stuff, I have to be in the right mood for. During the quarantine, I ate too much chocolate one night, and I had to really. I don't know your whole story about the chocolate bunny. I'd be curious to hear that, but
I tell you real quick. It don't take long at all. So it was Easter, and
Okay.
so we're like, oh, what do we bring for Easter? So he brings, and there was nothing even in the box. He is already gone. So he brought a 1 pound Reese's chocolate bunny. That was already gone. It was already gone.
I'd already eaten it.
He decimated it already, and I'm like, I was concerned for him because I didn't know if he should go to a hospital or something because I do not have diabetes right now.
yeah, did it hurt?
Sleeping or something, sleeping or something.
No, at this point in time, and I'm going to say this, that at that point in time, I was eating things like that all the time. Things like that all the time. So yeah, that was on the road. This is so that chocolate bunny thing happened, and then around that same time, I had to go either up a pant size or go to the gym. And I said, no, I'm not going to go up a pant size. So I just started going to the gym. I started eating better, and it's been 4 months. I don't know if I've lost. People tell me that I can tell that you are losing weight. So I went on the scale, and like at the beginning, and I was like I was like, oh my God, I'm so fat. But I haven't done, I haven't been going to weighing myself as much, but I do know that I feel better. I'm not eating like that anymore. And like when I lift, I'm lifting more. I'm doing a lot better. I feel like I'm not winded when I go upstairs. So that's been nice. When I walk. Yeah.
When you notice there's some kind of change. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to necessarily feel it. You feel it like that, but like you see it like in your pant size or your shirt sizes or how you're feeling in general. Something's happening. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, which is good. So I encourage everybody to start not only just getting mentally healthy, but also physically healthy is such a big thing. That's the one thing that I was doing. Like I was a meditation teacher doing all of this mental health work, and I wasn't working on my physical health. And if you're not working on your physical health, you're not gonna be doing so well later down the road. Doesn't matter how well you're doing mentally. So, yeah, I feel like I'm in a better space for sure. So, yeah, definitely doing good. So, but do you know what though? I'm going to tell you, Matt, I do want to know, what is your go-to Mexican restaurant in Phoenix, Arizona?
Taco Boys.
Where is Taco Boy? I haven't even heard of Taco Boy.
Phoenix, like 7th and Roosevelt.
Oh, wow.
It's still there. It's killer, man. It's just charcoal grilled right in there. You walk in, it's like 3 either brothers or cousins, that maybe more than 3, but like a few guys that own it, and it's a family thing. And they've only been open since like 2019, maybe. It used to be like on 7th and Roosevelt. You ever go downtown Phoenix?
All the time, yeah.
Yeah, where it used to be like a Jimmy John's there.
Yeah,
there might still be a Jimmy John's there, but it was like 2 restaurants. But they opened on that corner on the northwest corner.
Yeah, I totally know where that is. So we go to La Canasta, which is right there. Like literally right there. Yeah.
Taco Suero is a good one too, if you've been there over on.
I thought I thought you were gonna say Serrano's, because that's kind of your, in that area, or Elmer's Taco Shop, which is right across from Chandler High.
Yeah, so. I think what I did mostly in high school growing up in that area, I did a lot of Papa Chavos, or what was the other? It was like 2 companies, but it's the same company, but 2 different names. I can't remember the other one. But Papa Chavos is one. It's like one of the places. But yeah, man, Taco Boy's downtown Phoenix.
I'm gonna have to go check them out now. I'm gonna have to go and confirm the taco-ness, or Mexican food. So as we just said, he grew up in Phoenix. So yeah, just right down the road from me. He went to Perry High School, which is my daughters went to Chandler High School. So, which is in that same school district. So just down the road from each other. And so yeah, very cool. In Chandler and Gilbert are literally touching Mesa. So yeah, it's a pretty cool place. And I like this area of town. East Valley is totally like rocking. There's a lot of really kind of interesting places down here, a lot of good food, but downtown Phoenix is definitely where it's happening food wise right now, I think. And downtown Gilbert for some reason. So anyway,
Yeah, downtown Gilbert's just going nuts.
yeah, it's like so people who don't know Phoenix, and they're redoing this one area. Gilbert used to be like a one-horse town back in the day, and now they're just redoing everything. The light rail goes down almost down there, and now the food establishments are just freaking crazy. They have like every food that you've ever wanted, every type of food. So it's just like a foodie's dream to go down there. So really fun. Anyway, back onto food for Matt. So Matt, right before you go on stage, what are you eating?
I don't really like to eat right before I go up, especially singing. I like to kind of feast afterwards. It just kind of depends on the scenario, because I do a lot of stuff in town in Nashville. So I do a lot of like improv gigs, and
Nice.
we're doing they're jams, but it's also like really structured, kind of like more soul, like R&B vibe, a little funk. It's not as much like country blues stuff. Hardly any country, pretty much no country or blues in those settings. So like I'm doing vocals or piano in those situations, and I'm trying to like get my head right. If I'm singing, I'm not gonna like eat and just burp up stuff on the mic. I've done that before, so I try to like get the first set out of the way, because you're making up stuff on the spot. You want to get your head in the zone, and I want to like. So I don't know. It depends on where I'm at. There's one place I go and I try to like. I've been having issues. The older I get, the less things I can eat. So I can't eat spicy food anymore. I had a curry phase last week that I ended. I had to end it. So we're figuring it out. I don't know what it is. I think chicken and salads is like, unfortunately, where my body feels best. I mean, fortunately, it's not bad, but yeah. So before stage, I'm not really eating.
What are you eating after, though? Are you getting a beer, or are you getting a hot dog? What are you doing right afterwards, depending on the venue, I guess?
Sometimes the venue is close to a good hot dog place, I'll get a hot dog. I mean, oftentimes it's a hot Italian. So there's this place called Duke's in East Nashville out here. That's they're open until 2 a.m. 3 a.m. for beer for drinks, but 2 a.m. for food. It's like a $10 panini press sandwich with like boar's head meat and stuff. Is like the bread's made in town, and like a bakery in like downtown area. And it's just, it's great. I think it's one of the best sandwiches in town for like $10. I mean, you can spend $15 to get a killer sandwich quite a few places, but like for $10, I'm like at 2 a.m. So if you've had a few drinks and you're like, man, I could go for, and you get that hot Italian. But again, like spicy food is not my friend anymore. So I can't have to get the regular Italian. But yeah, that's like often what I'll do late night.
Now, how long have you been in Nashville?
Almost 2 years. So like
nice.
December will be 2 years. So
nice. So you've been to Portello's. So it is the hot Italian anywhere near like Portello's?
I only ever got hot dogs at Portillo's, so I don't know.
Oh man,
I have no idea. I'm so sorry.
My go-to hot Italian in anywhere has been Portello's. I absolutely love it. It's from Chicago, but oh my goodness,
I'd gone to.
Yeah. That's the one I was thinking of. I also, there's one in Scottsdale, but I'll tell you, oh man, I have a friend, and we would go there, and this is back in my heyday of eating caloric galore. Like this was like, I said, we cannot tell people we are going to this place, because what I'm going to eat now is so bad for you. You will die from eating this. You will just, because so Portello's, it'd be a hot Italian beef. And then I added a Polish sausage into the middle. So it was a combo. They call it a combo. Then I added cheese, hot peppers, and then we had fries, and then I had that nacho cheese.
Oh my god! All on that?
You will. Not all on it, but like to the side, the fries and the nacho cheese.
Wow!
But it was like cheese fries, this thing, and then it was wet. So then you added and you could get it wet, so it was like already sopping with that au jus.
Okay. And then did the chocolate bunny go on top of that?
Yeah, that's really what would happen right there. Yeah, I would get a chocolate shake.
Okay. Wow.
Like you literally, that's the stuff you will die from. I would die.
know.
I would have died from that. If I would have eaten. I like every 2 weeks we had like a crave. We'd be like, we are not allowed to tell anybody in our office because those people in your office are like, you ate what? I mean, I'm almost embarrassed in telling you that I ate it.
He told me, and I was like, really?
That's a pretty intense combo. Like just thinking about the 6 things that are included there. I mean, it sounds amazing, but wow.
The tastes were really good.
Yeah.
I will suggest that if you take off the Polish dog, their Italian beef is really good. And then if you add the hot peppers to it, because they have the sweet peppers, which is kind of your style right now, right? With the bell.
Yeah.
But they actually add the hot peppers as well. So you can do either sweet or hot. But it's so good. It's like a staple out here now. It's so crazy.
Yeah, Italian beef's great.
Yeah, the weird thing about Phoenix, and this, that we have really good Mexican. That's a given. But now that Phoenix has grown, there's like really good Thai food. There's really good pho. Or Vietnamese. There's really good places from Chicago. There's like, especially North Scottsdale has like a corridor of Chicago run and transported businesses. So yeah, it's totally, I love that stuff, man. It's good stuff.
Have you been to Glyban?
I have not. What is that?
Dude, it is the best Thai restaurant. It's insane. So chefs from Thailand, her and her husband own it. It's called Glyban, which means far from home. It's Thai street food. Everything is extremely authentic. It's in this old Mexican restaurant on 24th and Osborne. So like, man, where 24th?
I know where that's Scottsdale. So it's Scottsdale.
Like Phoenix. It's like
24th Street. Yeah. Okay.
Arcadia area.
Yeah. I totally know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So authentic, man. I cannot wait. I'm coming back in January, and I cannot wait to go there again. It is so worth it. It is so. It's just so. They like go. The whole team that goes out to Thailand. They like most of them are from Thailand that work there or were working there back when I used to go a lot. And they go to Thailand, especially for their cocktails, and they'll like get those ingredients and bring them back and make cocktails with authentic Thai stuff. That really express culture. It's super killer. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check it out because I've been to a couple. There's one that's in that same what's in North Scottsdale, but they changed owners and now it's not as good. And then my wife has finally got into Thai food, so she goes to kind of like one of those like outlets Thai food stores where it's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay. It's good. Yeah. It's good. It's not bad. I get her to eat it, and that's the big thing. So that was the intro to here's some Thai food. She likes some of the Thai food, so now let's go get real Thai food.
Yeah, it's an approach, but it's such a cool cuisine. There's so much going on.
There is it.
Flavors.
Yeah, it's like, well, I really like, my favorite soup in the whole world is a take on pho, which is the Thai bowl, which they add almost the same stuff. The noodles are the same. You can get thin or you can get the thicker spaghetti kind of noodles, but it's the heat is what is the extra. So you add that Thai hot, which is the 5, label 5 Thai hot, and your mouth is going to be on fire, but it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the food discussion for the day. Now we're going to get into, I know that Chef has been waiting for his opportunity to talk some music. So let's talk some music, buddy.
Yeah, I've been enjoying like the music that you've been putting out. It's very like, it's rhythmic. It's like the transient kind of like good vibe kind of music. You know what I'm saying? Like especially like with the good vocal like range of every everything that you're putting into it. Especially like the new song is amazing, by the way.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
So like, what's like your I was kind of asked is like, what's like the like your style? I mean, getting into your style of where you wanted to kind of play with when you got into like music. You know what I'm saying? Like how did you pick the style that you wanted? What's out there like right now, and then also like what you're writing in the process, like when you kind of write each song, what's like your motivation, your kind of take on you're getting your ideas to write the songs?
Yeah, I mean, so I've always had music in me, but I didn't really start learning it until I was 18. I started going to school, went to community college for like 3 years, learning music theory, piano, and jazz, and Then I went for audio production for a year, learned more of that. Then I went for school for like gardening and learned that too. So, but I just kind of thought in like a theoretical sense for a long time of like, how am I going to like, the 1 chord goes with the 3 chord, it has to go here or whatever. And I wouldn't think of this like feel. And so it took me until 22 to really kind of grasp like feel for a song and letting just like it come out of me. And so really it took honestly a good friend of mine passing away to like, for me to be able to crank one out. I was like, oh, that's how you do it. And then I just started writing more and more and kind of experimenting more. But like ultimately the style that I kind of like really write in is like, I call it progressive folk because it's like folk music, but it progresses, like Pink Floyd, progressive rock. They're rock, but they do jazz stuff. They do odd time signatures. They do 7-minute long songs. I'm not as much as like that kind of side of things, but it's more of like, folk music with the groove, with some jazz elements, and then now I'm kind of leaning more into an R&B side of things. So like I'm trying to borrow and marry this like experimental R&B with progressive folk and this. So big influences are Father John Misty, Bahamas. I like Jason Isbell a lot too for like straight up country stuff. I love all the neo soul stuff, D'Angelo, Erykah Badu, like a lot of this like mid 90s, late 90s resurgence of soul. I love like the hip hop side of things. I love Robert Glasper. I've been listening to just a lot of music that like has a lot of pulsing and feel to it and like groove, but also kind of being aware of like this folk and R&B has a lot of crossover. Like you can cross. All you gotta do is just like you can take a few folk chords and you just change where you're hitting the chord and it's like an R&B song. Make it a 9th chord. It's like there's an R&B song. So yeah, there's that. The writing process is just sometimes it's I can't not do it. I have to get it out. So I'll feel it coming on. You're just like, I gotta do it. Just kind of sometimes I channel something which I don't even know what I'm channeling, what I'm tapping into. There's flow state involved. You're talking about meditation, Andy, I think I love meditation, and I think that's a huge thing too, to kind of tap into something that I don't know if I'm even writing it or if it already exists and just like coming through me, but I'm like a conduit for something. Other times I can kind of like direct the flow, or I can feel like this coming. I'm like, okay, I have this melody. I'll put on a BPM sometimes. Here, example is yesterday. I wrote a song with a buddy, this killer keys player out here named Ryan Connors, and he, I got to his house, and beforehand I was just like getting ready, just hanging at home, and put like an 81 BPM on, and I was just like singing and started singing the melody, and all of a sudden this just comes to me. I'm like in the shower, getting it going, and all of a sudden I have some lyrics. Like, cool, hit voice memo, record that real quick. I get to his place, like, oh yeah, so how, do you have anything? I was like, actually, yeah. See if you like this. And I figured out the chords before I left too. And he's like, dude, this is sick. And then we just kind of, he's like, I'll just keep vamping it. And then he hit record and record a section for like a verse section. And I just kept singing and thinking of words. And then all of a sudden I had a verse. The verse is done. And I had a chorus. And the chorus is done. And we just structured the song out and finished it in like an hour. So it can happen. Sorry that was long-winded, but it can happen in that way. Sometimes it can happen in 2 minutes. So.
And the instruments
that's awesome.
The instruments are like very clean as well. Like when you listen to kind of like every instrument, and then you can kind of you hear everything. You know what I'm saying? It's like I said, you can kind of just shut down mode and just relax and kind of get away. If you need like a relaxing kind of whatever, like take an hour or whatever and listen to it. Like you literally take that and just kind of vibe with it. So I mean, it's like what kind of like equipment like are you using like to kind of get that sound?
With my keyboard, I use it's a Yamaha CP 73, so 73 key like stage keyboard. It's like they compete with like the Nord ones, just like simple like electric piano sounds. Piano sounds are great. It's not really as much of a synth, but it has or an organ really, but it has a lot of stuff to get you just really easy workflow, and I can combine things. So I can have all my piano stuff on, all my like Rhodes tones on, and I have a synth on, so I can turn the synth, put the strings, whatever, put strings through like a chorus effect, have the piano through like a tremolo, and then have the the electric piano through some other like a phaser, and I can blend them so it has a weird funky tone that doesn't sound like any of them, but it sounds.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Yeah. So yeah, and other than that, I have right next to me. I have a Gretsch.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's made in China, but I've upgraded pretty much everything. There's this new nut. All the electronics are new. Pickups are TV Jones Classics, and I got locking tuners and stuff. And I have my Vox AC15 that I run it through. And I think for me, the song I just released was all the rhythm guitar was this guitar and the Vox amp below me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just there's no pedals, no nothing, just that. I wrote the song on that same combo. I was like, I want to take that and put it in the studio in the same way. And it just, I think it's the perfect amp guitar combo for what I have right now in my gear collection. Like I have a Tele that is awesome, and I love the way it sounds, but I don't really love it through this amp. It's like a brighter amp. So these pickups are a little more warmer, so it works really well with this amp and balance.
That's cool. That's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah, it's good. You know what? And I was trying to figure out genre. I mean, I was like, oh man, so complex. And I was like, I heard some 80s in there. I was almost like the Smiths, kind of like some of that spoken word, but still singing. That's what I was getting off the Spotify stuff that I was listening to. Then, of course, you had the prayer stuff in there, which I thought was really cool because it's like a kind of a Wiccan type of thing. I thought that was cool. But I really I really dug. I was almost like, this is like retro 80s in a lot of ways with some metal riffs in the back. And I was like, that's so unique. And I was trying to place it. I'm like, great riffs, good. Definitely the balance was there, just like James was saying. But I also got this 80s vibe, or 80s, 90s vibe mod. I don't know if you remember what mod was, but like the Smiths and that type of genre, like just really good stuff. I was impressed. Where does some of your lyrical type of stuff coming from? I mean, you said you're kind of channeling it, but is it coming, I'm assuming, from feelings? I really thought that was one of your really key, for your music. I think that's one of your highlights, is that your lyrics are really solid.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you a lot. Yeah, it's, let's see, I think for that song, I just want it to be kind of poetic and kind of like you can read it how you want to read it, beauty's in the eye of the beholder kind of thing. But I also, a lot of my songs are about like unrequited love or time. Right? Time's a big concept, wasting time, spending time, limited time, passion, like getting, so in this case, for this, like the Eyes Like the Night song, like I was just thinking about somebody with like dark eyes who just doesn't care about your soul or something, like, but you do anything for them you fall in love with the wrong person and you just do anything for them. And they're just like, well, they still have black, hollow eyes. So, that's kind of, that's what I'm making kind of like a fun, like pentatonic groove, like a little pop to it, like a little bump to it. And I hired out one of my good buddies, Tony, his name's Tony Campanovo, really worth checking him out. He's an insane, he's a shredder guitarist, he's a jazz cat, he plays everything. And so he did the solo on that song. And his he put out like 30 solos. We're in the studio tracking, and like we're all melting. We're all just like, oh my god, like, how are you doing? Like we're all just like losing our shit. Sorry, I don't know if enough of you. And he hated all of them. He's just like, I hate this. It sucks. He's so like hard on himself. Like, dude, what? And he finally did one. He's like, I'm okay with this one. I was like, we're done. That's it. This is the one you're doing.
I like that one.
Maybe some of that metal stuff you're hearing is coming from that, because he's a shredder guy. So I wanted this ripping solo, like just take me somewhere else with it. So yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
That's what I was telling him earlier. I said, this is really like, it's like a different, like it's a meld of everything. Like you said, it's like a little rap, like the R&B kind of thing, a little bit of like a rock metal kind of thing, but like groove kind of thing. It's like just a meld of everything. Yeah. It kind of just fits all together, and you can kind of just vibe out with it.
Yeah. I gotta find a name for the genre, because it's a lot of coming out.
It totally is unique, and that's what I really like about it is that, and that's what we really like, music coming out of that passionate place that's new and unique. We've had several on that they don't fit into like they're not indie, they're not this, they're not that, and we love that because it's like this is fun to listen to because it's different. And you try to put pieces of it together. Like I'm trying to get his influences. I already pick up on those. I'm like, where are his influences? And then you tell me a whole bunch of bands that I've never heard of. And I'm like, okay, that makes total sense. So it's not mainstream. It's not mainstream. And it's some jazz. It's some different places. And you also said some really cool things, which is I come from a background where I was, some music stuff. So I'm producing music. I'm a luthier. So he's into that technical. You also sound like you're into that technical piece where it's theory. There's a lot of theory behind what you're talking about that makes sense. In my opinion, that's where it sounds like you've realized the theory, but then you're also coming from that flow, which means you've been playing a while and you're technically there, but you also have the ability to transition into what's your emotion and feeling behind it, and which is a really hard combo to do, honestly. Right. So yeah, it's good stuff, really good stuff.
Yeah, cool, thank you.
Yeah, so what I am going to say this, that I did pick up the on Shooting Stars, I did pick up the end of it, the Pirates of the Caribbean thing.
The what?
Shooting Stars. So Shooting Stars has the Pirates of the Caribbean the end of it has that guitar part that's like a little bit of I was like, hey, that is the Pirates of the Caribbean, the very last riff.
I'm not familiar with what you're referring to.
Oh, okay.
What song was it?
Okay, hang on. Let me get it.
Any clarification here?
Let me get it. I've been listening to the wrong stuff the entire time. That's what the story is going to be today. Hotel's on Fire, right?
Hotel on Fire.
Yeah.
Okay. So then that's the okay.
So there should be Eyes Like the Night, Love Light, No Guarantee, Spear, and Fusing.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, never mind. I'll shut up.
Oh, good.
Sounds good though. It still sounds good.
Yeah. Maybe that's the reason why it was the wrong song. I was like stuck on that song for a while when I was going to the gym.
Even when you go on Spotify, like sometimes I've done the same thing before. When we had another interview, and I'm like, oh yeah, this song sounds great. And I'm like, because when you listen to Spotify, when you're done listening to those tracks, I think it picks up other tracks that sound similar.
It puts you on.
So it will give it like another song. So that might be like the way it kind of came out.
That's what happened. So that's what happened to that song. So I was like, it got included in your playlist because there's Hotel on Fire and there's Hotels on Fire.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So it tricked me up. It added them all up together.
Started war with Hotels on Fire. Game on.
So yeah, it does that. I did that like a few weeks ago, or I think last month. I did it to my guest, and I said a song, and they're like, "What song was that? I didn't do that song." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
I thought I was like embarrassed, but then when I looked at it, I go, "Oh, okay." It gives you like another track that's like different music, but like it sounds similar, maybe, or they think it sounds similar, so they add another track to it.
That's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did. Okay, cool. Good. So it included in this list of Spotify, but I did listen to your music. I just was like, man, I better not have been listening to the wrong guy's music the entire time. And I go look it up, and I'm like, oh no,
that's a great one, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, it was great that he had this Pirates of the Caribbean riff at the end, and then Hotels on Fire has a Pirates of the Caribbean riff on it. He's ripped off the people. So
I didn't hear that song.
Yeah, I was like, that sounds cool, I guess.
Pirates of the Caribbean, that's cool.
Yeah. Apparently that's the end of their riff on that show, on that thing. So anyway, moving on to, so you've been playing for how long?
I'm 20. It's like 11 years.
11. And you've been luthiering for 11?
Oh, no, like 2.
2. Okay.
Yeah, I did that in the pandemic. I just basically took unemployment money and the rest of my savings and threw that at some sort of trade to, because restaurants are brutal. I've been doing that for 12 years. It's a long time. I did a craft cocktail world for like 5-6 years. So I was working at some pretty like prestigious, cool bars, cocktail bars in Phoenix, and did a lot of hours of work and a lot of time away from music that I wasn't pursuing. What, like, life's short, so I want to make sure that I'm really going for what I want to do and happy with what I want to do. And like I started kind of messing with my guitars during the pandemic, and I'm a left-handed guitar player.
Nice.
So everything, my world is like, you're pretty limited for sure. There's options are available, but it's like, I have one color to choose from versus the right-handeds have like all these options. So I'm like, well, if I want to modify something and get it to be my own kind of thing, I want to learn how to do this. And I didn't want to like just modify. And I love maintaining things. I've always loved maintaining my guitars and restringing them, keeping them humid, and making sure that we continue to work. So I just kind of like anything I get into, I kind of really dive into hard. And so I was like, well, this is the best way to do it. I went to a guitar shop in Cave Creek. I can't remember the name of the shop right now. JD something. I don't know. Really nice guy, but I asked if I could apprentice with him. He's like, dude, I'm too busy, but if you get a certificate from Roberto Venn, I'll hire you. I was like, okay, cool. And I was planning on moving to Nashville regardless. I just didn't know when, and I didn't know what the state of the world was going to be. It's just, nobody knew. And so I took a chance, went to school, and then that's when I learned that. So I was able to learn how to maintain my guitars even further. And then now my goal is to help other people make the best art they can with their instrument. And I don't want to be the best repairman in the world, because I'm not. I don't have, some tools are so expensive, man. There's a guy out in Berry Hill area in Nashville. A lot of studios are out there, kind of south of downtown a little bit. He has, $200,000 CNC machines that are doing this work. Wow. So I can't compete with that. I don't expect to, but I also don't have a 3-week to a month waiting time for a guitar. So I can, depending on what it is, I can get stuff done pretty quick and just develop community and just like help people out.
What is it what do you think? What's the biggest, when somebody comes in with a guitar, what is the biggest request usually?
Setups are most common, but lately it's been fretwork.
Gotcha. Trimming frets and
yeah. So you'll have, leveling them out, polishing them, re-rounding them. And like, especially like, you play on a guitar a long time, you'll start to develop dents in the frets. So what I do to like help myself with that is when I change my strings, I just take like 600 grit sandpaper and just go over the frets. Unless it's like a maple board, you want to tape it off so you're not getting the finish scratched. But like for this guy, I just take 600 grit and then go over with 1500 grit and then go over with steel wool, and it kind of polishes them and re-rounds them so that they're always nice. Yeah. If you wait like 2 years after play, say you go on tour a bunch and like 2 years later you decide to get your frets done, like it's going to be a lot more work, cost you more money in the long run too.
That's good to know.
Yes, lately fretwork's been a big thing.
What is the most difficult guitar you've ever worked on?
Ooh. Man, I'm trying to think. It was definitely fretwork. It was buddy's. So two scenarios are kind of equal. One was like my buddy's like ES335 that he thought he needed to refret. I was like, no, your frets are good, man. You just need a level job. So I leveled it. I thought I did it right, but then it was still buzzing, or not even buzzing. It was just fretting out. So like say you play like at the 12th fret, and the 13th fret is just a little too high. So it just runs into the fret. The string's moving and hitting the fret. So I had to like do that, but you get that fret, but then that buzz happens to the next fret. Then you chase the fret to the next fret of the board. So every time you're deep in the strings, pulling them off, pulling them aside, sanding them down, filing them down, re-rounding them, polishing them, back up to like, and it takes you hours sometimes just to chase that. So like, and at that point I didn't have, I was missing a specific tool that just wasn't, I had ordered it, but it didn't come in the mail yet. So that took some time. Finally got dialed in. Oh, such a relief. But another friend brought his bass to me to set up, and it was like a bolt-on, like P bass. Fender P bass, and has 4 bolts on the back that connect the neck to the body, and there's like a plate back there. He wanted to customize the plate and put a new plate on. Didn't realize that the bolts for the plate were the bolts for the whole neck, and he had the strings and tensions, so the whole neck just.
Oh.
Yeah. So when I had just set it up, and he didn't know. He's like a killer keys player. He just didn't know that happened, and so luckily it didn't damage really a whole lot, but something big time. Like the wood got warped. Something happened. I couldn't really figure out what happened, but the frets were awful. So I had to like put a shim in it, mow all the frets down. Like, again, the same thing of chasing that buzz, that fretting out all the way up the board until eventually it just went away. And it was like, oh, I played beautiful. And then it was just, yeah. So there's been a few cases where like, and there was one a friend brought to me. I was like, I can't fix this. You need to drop like $800 and get a neck reset where they like steam out it's like an acoustic, or at least like this is not a bolt on. So this, or like Gibson style set necks are like glued in at a certain angle. And over time, especially with vintage instruments, like, wood's always moving. You have string tension, you have humidity and dry spells. Like over winter here, it's super dry because you have your heater on in house. In Arizona, it's dry as hell the whole time in the, so like I always have the humidifier going. It's a big piece of advice. Always have it like 40% humidity in whatever room your instruments are stored if you want them to have longevity. But anyway, it was so messed up. I was like, dude, your action is like, you can play slide guitar on this thing. Like you need to get this redone. I can't do it. So yeah, there's been moments like that where I've just had to give somebody else the work. So
cool.
Yeah.
That's good. That's cool. So let's talk a little bit more about what you're going to be touring. You're going to be touring here, or are you going to be touring, or are you going to be playing some, like I heard you kind of dipping into some local clubs and doing some stuff, but where can we see you?
Mostly local stuff. I might try to do like a little songwriter thing or a quick, small show when I'm in Phoenix in January. I'll be out there for a week,
Nice.
But I just have local Nashville stuff. I'm in the process of booking something for like spring. I'm trying to hit all the surrounding cities of Nashville and just try to get fan base in like some of these like college towns and just do like brewery tour, and
That's cool.
yeah, I want to hit Atlanta and Asheville, North Carolina, and like Charlotte. There's a bunch of places in like Chattanooga, Tennessee, Birmingham, Alabama. I'm trying to hit like 6-7 cities, go on a little like mini week or 2 long thing, just to develop more this organic fan base and just meet people and develop connections, because I really like those cities a lot. They're all really cool towns. I have friends out there too, so
That's cool.
the process. Yeah, I mean, I moved out here in the middle of a pandemic. It's kind of hard takes time for everything to kind of grow up to.
So that's what I hear. So we had another person that had they were fairly recent, like a year or 2 into Nashville.
Okay.
And they said it just takes time to network. And it takes almost 12 years to network with folks. And then finally, because you know enough people, they start connecting you. Then that's when things start happening. Within the first, I guess it was with 10 to 12 years or something. That's when all of the networking things that you've done have set up finally. And hopefully you're not a jerk. So then they actually, but you're not. So, but that's when they said, finally, that's when they say that all these connections work now all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And that's when you start taking off.
It really just depends. I mean, for the most part, from my experience, from a lot of people I know that have already done a lot of things, that they say Nashville's a 5-year town. I've heard a 10-year town. It kind of just depends. So it depends on what your actual goal is. If you want to be a hired gun playing for an artist, you can get there in 6 months. I have a friend who did that. He started last summer. He got a gig within a month of wanting to do that.
It's all about how I guess your push of yourself is and getting out there. I'm saying, like, if you're
everyone's got their own clock. Everyone's got their own time of what when that fruit's ripe to pick, when that move is right to make, and yeah. So like I like networking, and I'm social, and I meet people, and I put myself out there. And I don't even do it that hard. I go through waves because I have a girlfriend I like spending time with, and sometimes I'm like, I don't want to spend money right now. Everything's expensive. I want to cook at home. I bought a chicken for $11, a whole chicken that fed me for 2 days. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Right.
You can go out and spend $60 on that. So I just try to do that. But like, yeah, there's definitely more, like lately I've been socializing a lot, and it's leading to cool stuff, like cool song co-writes, like learning a bunch about my guitar, about playing guitar, like about playing piano, and getting gigs, and some people are trying to hand me off gigs and stuff. So it just really depends on your network and your pace of things. I think you can, if you're trying to like sell out theaters, it might take 12, 15 years to get that, or 30. I know some people have been out here for 15, 16, and they're just hitting stuff. I know people who've been out here for 2 years who are just blowing up. So
I think it depends on a few things. Marketing yourself. I think that you're talking about marketing, and I know that you do happen to have a really good marketing kind of publicist friend that we know too,
yeah,
that probably can help steer you in the right directions as well. So that's really cool.
yeah, you luck out. Like that's why I think it's good working at restaurants or bars, because you meet people who
Yeah.
are cool
Yeah.
people, and you find out what they do, and you're like, well, you want to see if this works and be friends, and then you become friends, and it's awesome.
It's also word of mouth too. Like I said, doing these little gigs all around, like I said, little tours that you want to do, or little spots that you want to do. It's all word of mouth. You know what I'm saying, it takes just one person to tell the right person, and bam, they might know somebody. You know what I'm saying, I work with a musician as well. He's a bass player on a band. The name of the band is Makari, and so they've been around for a little bit, and they're doing pretty good. They're just now recording their second LP, and I mean they've had like a couple other EPs, little things, but I mean now they're kind of they're getting up there. They're getting a lot of name. They're out of Orlando, but they made their way kind of down here, and so I mean yeah, they're really good. And it's just like I said, it's all word of mouth. Somebody gets a hold of the right person, or somebody tells the right person to pass along like the video or whatever, and there you go.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very saturated world, but there's also so many people to like. I can't remember, somebody who said like, I can't remember what the number was. I think it was like 1,000 dedicated fans is enough to give you like a pretty good career.
Yeah.
I can't remember if that was the right number. Something around that, though, where it's like specific number of fans like who really care, who really want to buy merch, who really want to like come to your shows, like.
Right.
Either that or maybe 10,000, but it's like, it's a weird world to navigate, but it's always shifting. It's always changing. Nobody expected TikTok. Nobody expected like everything that's happening with Instagram and all these like social media apps to like be what they are. YouTube, YouTube's on the YouTube Shorts now too. So it's like you have a lot of factors to deal with that back in like, early 2000s, late 90s, and labels were king. People were buying CDs, and now they just don't. People just don't buy albums anymore, and it's sad because getting to know an album is the best thing. It's one of the best things, like from top to on song 3, right at the end of that song, you're singing the first part of song 4. Like you're already in it. You're like, it just informs like a whole summer, and so
Totally.
now it's like Spotify, where we're just switch to the next song, like playlist, and like you have to kind of adapt, and so people just do the whole single thing where they release.
Sure.
Singles. So it's just a weird world. I'm like, I chose this, and I'm let's do it.
Just the adjustment of it. It's all it was back in the day.
Yeah.
But you know what, though? This is the one thing, and this is what I get out of your music, is that there's passion behind it. And those are things that that's what keeps you going. Because if you don't have that, and it's just kind of lukewarm, you're not going to make it. And it doesn't matter who you are. I can tell that that's what you have, a fire in you, and you're ready to, that's what you're out there doing. And it can be at your own pace. Like, hey, you know what? I do have a restaurant job, which is working out well for me. And I'm doing this guitar repair. It's doing good too. The business is doing just enough to keep me going. And so it doesn't have to be like crazy. And I think also sometimes the things that burn out most musicians is the fact that they think that they're just going to go into a place and make it rich. And they're just going to, people are going to like them or they're not. And they're going to give that 6 months or a year or two, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Where I think that sounds like you're in for the long term. You found Nashville. You found your place in Nashville. and you're still networking and getting to know people, and it's, that's really awesome that you're able to do that, because there's a lot of people that can't. There's a lot of people that don't even know where the first place to start. And speaking of, TikTok and stuff, that's TikTok is the interesting thing, how it's like completely changed the game, right? If you can't do something in 15 seconds or a minute, and get people's, wanting to listen to it, because it's like their attention span is 15 to a minute. That's it.
Mhm.
You better you better put everything, your little music clip better be, containable and consumable at that level. And that's crazy to do. I mean, we do our marketing things, and we better grab people fairly quickly off our marketing thing. We try to add the best piece that we can for the artist that we're, either their artist or some music that sounds like theirs. But in order to get that grasp, you have to be able to get them really quick and then say, yeah, I want to watch that show. Or in your case, I want to go and listen to Spotify now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard. It's a hard market. It is a hard market.
That's possible.
Yeah. What birthed the name Hotel on Fire? I gotta ask that.
Oh yeah. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with existential crisis, but I've had it before. I had it pretty bad in 2015. I been living out in Tempe, doing my own thing, moved out and stuff, and it was right around the time my friend passed, and I moved back home with my mom because my dad moved out to Austin for work for 6 months. They didn't separate or anything. He just went out for a job opportunity. And so she had a preschool at the house. I was like, I want to help her out, and I don't want her to be, that's a lot to manage. So I moved in, saved rent, chilled out there, but I was having an existential crisis because I was like, man, what the hell am I doing? Like I moved away from all my friends, my work commute. I was working in Scottsdale. So I was like commuting an hour a day. Or 2 hours a day, because I would drive. I was working morning shifts at a bar and like a restaurant, so working, driving around rush hour on the way there and rush hour on the way back. It was crazy, but yeah. And so I was like having it real bad one night, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna look at Reddit. It was like 4 a.m. I was really like having a panic attack almost. So I was like, what does Reddit have to say? I just went on Reddit, because I don't never go on Reddit. I was like, looked up, and someone was like, existential crisis theme Reddit thing, like thread. And someone was like, oh, well, the way I look at it is like life's like a building, and the building's on fire, and you're on the top floor, and you can focus on the fact that that fire is catching up to you, or you can just enjoy the people that you're around with on that top floor. That's like the way the person described it. I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And then flash forward to like 2 years later, I'm at a music festival, like doing yoga in a tent really high, and I would think about that moment. I was like, oh, Hotel on Fire, and it just came to me. I was like, oh, that sounds cool. I like the way that sounds. And it's like, the top floor of a hotel is like a penthouse, like the best part of the hotel. Right. So everyone's partying up there. It's like my goal is to live life passionately and fully, and live it hard in a way. It's like I don't go hard and like eat a bunch of chocolate. Like I don't but I don't drink a whole lot, or like do too much stuff. That's like, it's all about balance, right? And so like embracing all of life's good parts, all the bad parts. Like during the pandemic, man, I had so many bad things. The whole year I was just like, you know what? Give me more. What else do you have? At that point, I was just like, I can take more, So just like those things, embracing all parts of life, good and bad, and it's like that's kind of like what it's all wrapped up into. And I just think it has a cool name. So
it's a good name too. It's a good, actually, like a little metaphor. Like that's what you're
I love it.
It's kind of being, like I say, you don't have to be like the richest person in the world, as long as like you're happy in your kind of place, and you're on the top. In your mind, you're on the top, and it's like you're gonna enjoy the moment that you're in. I guess.
Just watch the clouds go by sometimes. We live in a weird world where it's easy to forget that. Nice. Kind of the point of life is just to be alive. Yeah. Just to literally you can watch the sky. It's free.
That is so true.
Sometimes
I love it.
It's pretty. So
yeah, that's why I like where I work. I work at a country club, and the way they have the restaurant set out, so like it's a golf course out in the front. But the way they have it set up, like I always say, whoever like set it up, whoever built this, they built it in the right spot. They built it facing the right spot because every morning, every night when the sun sets, we work in an open kitchen, so we see out in the front. It's like a 360 view of windows, so you see like everything that's out there, and you see like the sunset. Like there's like even like a little lake pond kind of out front. So really, yeah, when it sets, it's just like a different color almost every night.
Wow.
And it's gorgeous. I want to go out there and like take a picture almost every night because it's just something different.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah,
that is cool. Well, Matt, I'm going to tell you, this has been a awesome time hanging out with you. Hotel on Fire. He is going to
not
be
hotels on fire.
Don't look for hotels on fire.
Fun.
Do not look for hotels on fire.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
And do not let Spotify spook you into shooting stars where you're like, hey, there's like a riff in here that sounds like Pirates of the Caribbean in your music. And you're like, I've never made that. And I'm like, well, Hotels on Fire did. But we're Hotel on Fire, and Hotel on Fire has some really good tracks on it. So go check him out on Spotify, on all the major things. What else? Are you on SoundCloud and things too?
There's some old stuff on SoundCloud if you want to dig deep, but yeah.
Dig deep, folks. I want to hear you dig deep, and then I want to hear at least one thing in the comments that when you heard him, you were like, hey, I got to go to SoundCloud and dig deep. So I want to hear some of his earlier stuff, and then I want you to compare it to the newer stuff and tell me in the comments below what you think. Which version are we loving? I'm going to say that I really like your new stuff coming out. It's beautiful. I think that you're going somewhere and you're in the right place. Nashville is musicians heaven, and you're being able to do stuff with music. Even if he's a luthier, he gets to do stuff with music every day. I would dig that. That is really cool. I enjoy talking to people that do that, and I'm digging what you're doing, dude. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Any last words, James? What is your thoughts?
No, same thing. Really, truly amazing to listen to your music, and to get. I always like to listen to those kind of vibey kind of music. We've had different people that have the same kind of sound, where it's like that vibe music, and you kind of mellow out. It's good to kind of have that balance, like you say. If you need that balance, you can listen to your music. I think you can get that balance. It's definitely a good, relaxing, like. Kind of just taking a step down from where you're at right now. If you're feeling overwhelmed, or if you're feeling, oh my God, I'm saying you can jam out your music like that. You can kind of just, vibe out and mellow out.
Very cool.
Keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, keep doing what you're doing, and
thank you so much.
Look forward to hearing from you your new stuff as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And any last place where you're gonna be playing next, so that people in Nashville can be checking you out?
Yeah, I'll be playing. So it's called the Germantown Block Party. The restaurant I work at is doing with 5 other restaurants and a few breweries, doing a block party. It's September 18th from 4 to 7. It's supporting a charity. I can't remember the charity's name, but it helps get people who are coming out of prison into jobs.
Oh, cool.
So,
nice.
Helps kind of rehabilitate, and so yeah, a lot of it's going to charity, and it's gonna be a fun September block party. A bunch of people are going to show up. It'll be fun.
Yeah, right on, man.
Full band set there, so.
Oh yeah.
Oh, right on, man. That's cool. Yeah. Matt, it was a pleasure to meet you. Good times. We'll chat. And James, what do you have to say? What do you have to say here, buddy?
Stay tasty. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.
Thank you, guys.
And hit the button to leave.